and clamped all this.
You know, let me know how much this stuff costs.
Oh, I think the club's gonna pay for all this stuff, but
Oh, it's not their
Here comes
scope.
John.
Not yet. Not until I'm dead.
okay. Now let's see here, then, so I made up some new feet, hockey puck style, and then routed them up. Painted them up. And then Jim gave me a board. And then to replace this one, because this one is completely water routed,
Yeah.
all waterlogged.
Yeah.
We're just having a sidebar, that's all.
The sidebar that everyone can hear because
Okay.
there's nothing else to drown it out.
Then you can see all the water.
Sure.
Yeah.
Alright.
Jim, he bought me a piece of Baltic bird, so it's 13 ply.
Anyone heard from Rusty lately? He always used to come here in person.
I haven't really been.
There's the thing upside down, just test fitting the pin. And then I cut.
How is everyone?
Good.
I've used a whole bottle of glue. All the dirt that was in there.
Yeah.
And then this is this morning routing this stuff up. And let's do the new piece. This is just too difficult to fit directly in there without a laminate trimmer. That stuff I hate. And then this piece was never there.
You may have been there, Reed.
So I found a piece that matches there.
We should get started.
Good started.
Yeah, okay. All right, Ashley can't make it tonight, so I'll temporarily fill in as secretary. Get the timing down. All right. Did everyone get the agenda that was sent out?
Yes.
Good to know. Just a minute here. Okay. All right. So we had the first weekend of our Eastern Iowa Star Party on the 30th and the 31st. Had about 15 people show up total, 15 to 20 people. Any comments on how things went?
I think it went good. A lot of people showed up, a lot of good food. Thanks to Craig and Ashley.
Yes. The weather stayed good all night?
Yes, pretty much. It did, yeah.
Good. Weather was very good for our public event on the 7th as well. Till it got pretty hazy between 10:30 and 11. I think that was like the coldest night that we've had around here in months. Yeah, we got at least a dozen people in the public show up. Took them a tour of the different buildings, and they all seem to enjoy themselves. How many of them went around to see how you were doing with your scopes? I'll take that as an abstention. Okay. Okay, so September 27th and 28th is our second weekend for the EISP. I try to use that email list to send out invitations again, or invitation reminders. And we should also remember to post on Facebook that we're having again. Let's see. Ashley in an email, so I get here. Ashley's volunteering to bring a cheesecake again and some other kind of food. And the board was thinking we need to be a little bit more organized this time about prepping for the event. I'm thinking we should. I think we should email around a checklist, perhaps, to see who to put down in writing who will volunteer what for the EISP planning. Who's going to bring what? Who's going to check and make sure everything's clean and so on. I'm glad you're also enthusiastic about the idea. It's been a long day for everyone. Anyway, and then we have another public night on October 5th. We only set up rain delay dates for the May through September parties. So if October 5th's weather is bad, we'll just have to wait till the following month. Agreed? All right.
Agreed.
Okay. Excuse me. And then it's time to start thinking. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Time to start thinking about the November banquet. It's scheduled for November 18th, Monday, November 18th. And we brought it up at the last board meeting, and we agreed that the Dynasty Buffet is, again, a good location to have it. Does anyone have any objections? Has anyone not been to the Dynasty Buffet before? So what we do is we reserve the back room for our event. It's got like about a dozen tables there. It can sit 4 to 6 people each. Plenty of room for our club. I'll start sending out RSVP emails to see how to start finding out how many people are coming. We also start thinking about what do we want to do with the dinner. One thing we always do is we hold our elections for board members for the following year. But in past years, we also did like a trivia contest. Sometimes we had some door prizes. Did a presentation, slide presentation. So start thinking about what kind of activities you'd like to have during the banquet, what kind of activities we can have during the banquet, considering time and budget. And we'll come back to this subject. Let's come back to this subject at the next board meeting and sort of gather everyone's ideas together. How does that sound?
Sounds good to me.
Jim, you there?
I am here. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
That's in November, right?
November 18th, yes. All right, any thoughts, questions, comments about any of these upcoming events? The EISP, the banquet? All right. All right. Updates on the observatory.
Did you get your telescope fixed? You seem to.
I mean, I think there might be something loose in it, because even when I compensated for how far it seemed to be off target, once I moved to some other part of the sky, the difference was totally changed. And I've heard talk for years back about possible mirror flop with it, and I'm wondering if that might have something to do with it.
I remember Jeff saying that he was starting to have trouble with it.
Are you hearing any rattling?
I'm not so much hearing rattling as when the telescope gets to its target, sometimes it suddenly beep and beep back again for some unknown reason.
That's the mount making the noise, not the optical tube, correct?
Yes.
There might be a mount backlash issue.
Mount backlash.
Yeah, it needs to be retuned.
Mirror flop tech really usually only happens when you're using the focuser, focusing in and out. Unless you do a meridian flip, maybe it might shift on you when you have to refocus again.
It
That's
did some gradient flips that night, yes.
Okay. I typically, when I used to collimate an SCT, I'd always collimate it on one direction of focus. So no matter if it flopped or not, I would collimate it so that it would snap into focus going clockwise. You following what I'm saying? That way, if you go counterclockwise and the mirror flips, you're going to be that mirror flip, that slight movement. You would be off a little bit on collimation. Then you flip it back to the right, and you'd be back on.
I think there is an answer to that.
What's that?
The answer to the possibility of a mirror flop is you need to resync a position once you have it moved in center. When you do a meridian flip, you need to resync on an object. Then you're good in that quadrant.
Well, we're talking about mirror flop as far as focus, correct?
Well, I know that Jeff said the answer to the mirror flop issue was to tighten the mirror down completely and then replace the existing focuser with a feather touch focuser.
That will answer that permanently, yes. Because I forgot that's an HD, so yeah, you do have mirror locks on that.
Yes, yeah. We might have had a feather touch focuser at one point, and then for some reason just never got around to putting it in.
Yeah, that would be ideal for that situation. But then once you collimate that in, because even a feather touch, it's got collimation points on the actual focuser too. So you can focus the mirrors and the focuser all into one.
Now, honestly, I'm not very knowledgeable about this subject, so I'm looking to all of you to give me the best advice. Next time we go out there, I should if one of you be willing to let me show you what's going on with it, maybe you can diagnose the problem better.
Yeah, we need a collimator of some sort for that. Typically that But well, the ones we were using are too small for that large of a scope. So it's more or less pointing at Polaris and, you know, collimating on Polaris and increasing the magnification and until you get a pinpoint, then lock the mirror. That's if you have the focuser on the back. And then make it very clear no one's to touch the locks. Maybe after you lock it, those will come off. Maybe there's a screw on there. Maybe it's a what do you call those? You know, you got like an Allen wrench type of lock screw on there, and you can loosen that and just take that knob off and just let it be so no one touches it.
Oh, let's take a look at it one of these days.
Yeah.
All right. So now what about the 12-inch of the dome? Anything been done with that? Howard, you said you had some issues with the state of cleanliness inside.
Yeah, when I was there, I showed you what it was, and I thought somebody had said they came in and cleaned it. Even if I'd have to get out there with somebody to make sure it gets done, that's probably what we need to do. The thing is, for breathing wise, I don't want to breathe that in and he can't come home and sleep.
Anybody got HEPA-vac?
I don't know.
I mean, does anybody in the club?
That would help. It's just the problem is I'm so far away from there. I'm 39 miles away, and it takes me a long time to go home and get cleaned up afterwards, and then I just drag that stuff home in my sinuses. Even if I got a mask on, unless I get one of those really good ones, which is just a painting mask from Harbor Freight, $18. Right now, I'm kind of scared of it right now because you don't want to be affecting somebody's lungs in there.
Well, I could email Ambrose's physical plant again, ask him to go and take another crack at cleaning it.
And then maybe have them me give you my phone number, and then they would call me. I'd go out with them to make sure it gets done right. Because you really need somebody there. Well, you gotta need to move this and this and that, and tell them where it has to be cleaned.
I could do that.
And you do. When I was out there, I showed you that I had plugged all the holes in the floor, so the mice can't get back in right now. So it should be sealed.
They'll find a way.
Oh, of course it will, but you just have to be ahead of them.
Well, I'll tell you what, Howard, if you email me your phone number, I can pass it on to Ambrose so they can get in touch with you.
Yeah. And my biggest problem right now is I haven't had gas money to go out because I have a limit every month how much money I got. And when I'm out, I can't go nowhere.
All right, see what we can get done with that. And how about the new roll-off building? Any updates on them? Anything new there?
This is Jim. I was gonna let Mike tell this, but maybe he's not on. So today, Mike and I went out and applied a clear coat on the concrete, so a concrete sealer. So we put that on today. So Mike felt that would be a real good thing to make it a little bit easier to clean up and have less dust come out of the concrete. So that's an activity that we did today.
Here's Mike. He can share his thoughts.
That was Jim. Was that a sealer? And it was real clean before you put it on, right?
Well, yeah, we spent about 3 hours cleaning it up again. I mean, it just continues to get stuff tracked in there. So we vacuumed all of the loose cement as well as the grass that gets tracked in. And then Mike was down his hands and knees with a bucket of water, scrubbing up all of the, any dirt that was in there.
Have you checked back on it that it did dry and everything? It looks pretty good or what?
I left a little before Mike was completely done, but those, it's a water-based sealer, and we had fans on it, so it was drying pretty well enough that we could put some of these, the equipment that's out there, put it back on the sections that we had laid down about an hour before that. So yeah, I think it's nicely dried up now.
Maybe that's the only thing you're gonna have to do once that's sealed. It's just easier to clean up. And I had suggested putting a couple of those. They're kind of like a coconut fiber mats in front of the door outside. So when people walk in, it I automatically start brushing off their feet when we're there, and then we can put it back inside when we're gone.
Yeah, anything we can do to reduce the amount of grass that gets tracked in will be very helpful.
I finished up at 1 o'clock today out there and locked everything down, all 6 lock points, and the roof was rolled back and everything was drying. It was hot and the sun was coming in there and the fans. So and it was a fast dry product, and it even had a nice little sheen on it. When I left, it wasn't the flat. So it'll sweep up a lot nicer now, because the surface is sealed, so it don't keep bringing concrete dust up, because you can sweep it and you can come back and sweep it again and there'll still be dust. I don't care how you can vacuum it, but now the sealer will help, stop that, and it'll also be easier to sweep. But another couple years, might want to put one more coat on it, but at least it's got one coat on it, and it'll keep the dust down, and everything's good. Everything was locked up when I left.
Well, that sounds good. Now that mat I was talking about was a welcoming mat.
Right.
We could have put a little sign there that says "Please white feet for entering," something like that.
Yeah. It all helps.
Also, we could cement, those cement pads just outside the door need to be firm, need to be more cemented down more firmly.
Another thing that would be nice to do, and it's not all that expensive. I think it'd probably cost another $50 or $75, but all the saw cut cracks, dirt gets in there. And I did it on my back patio, and I've done it for other clients of mine. In fact, I just did somebody's driveway cracks and some sidewalk cracks last Wednesday. And it take this urethane caulk that has an expansion to it. It contracts. You just don't want to put any old caulk in there. I get it from Gerke Robertson, and it's kind of a pain, and I would never do it all in one day because it'd kill my knees, and I wouldn't even be able to get up off my knees after being on my knees all day. But take, half of it or something, and get like maybe 8 tubes of this caulk and do the actual saw cuts, because then when you sweep, the dirt don't go in those cracks, keeps the water. Well, there's no water in there anyway. Better not be. But that would even, be another little cheap thing for maintenance to keep it up. If you guys are interested, but I won't do it all in one day. I might even take 2 or 3 times. I go out there and do a few cracks, because it'd kill my knees and I'd be hard getting up off the ground again.
I was wondering, the cracks are on the cement floor inside the building.
Yeah, it's the stress cracks that they saw cut after
Okay.
they laid the cement.
How many of those they have? About 3 or 4?
Well, there's one right down the middle, and then there's probably 3 that go north to south. So you know, you get the little small tubes are about, I think around $8 a tube, and I could see it taking maybe 6, 8 tubes, maybe, I don't know. But it'd make it easier because when you do clean up in there, you, the dirt and dust and, you know, whatever debris doesn't get down in the cracks. And it really looks nice when it's done. I did my patio here that was laid about 8 years ago, and I did it probably 4 years ago. And, you know, it's outside, so the water don't run down in there. Plus, in the wintertime, if it's outside, you don't want water sitting in there, because then when it freezes, it can pop out the edges of the concrete around the saw cut. But you won't have that problem inside, because there better not be any snow or water in there. Somebody left the roof open.
Hey, Mike, it's hard. I have a real nice 20 by 18 kneeling pad, rubber, so you can kneel and it won't hurt your knees. I could probably leave that to 28 so you could use that to do that after.
That's all right. I already got them pads in my van. Jim and I were using them today even.
Okay, that you have them strapped on your knees, huh?
Well, I hate knee pads because they never really stay in place.
Yeah.
So I got like 1/2-inch carpet pads from houses that I've cut down to maybe 1.5 feet wide, and they're short and long pieces, and you just move them around. It only takes a second, and you just kneel on them.
The one I've got is made of a black foam, and it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like carpet padding. It's a good rubber pad.
Yeah. Well, that all helps. It doesn't, you got to look after your body and your knees, because it isn't good to be on solid concrete on your knees.
Yeah, I know that because I have bad knees. So I could bring that out and leave that there and show you where it'd be a plastic black bag, and you can use it to apply your glue or your stuff that goes in the cracks.
Yeah, that's fine.
As long as I get it back, because that's my gardening foam.
Yeah, well, if you're using it this fall, you better keep it for yourself, because what I got works fine too. And
oh, okay.
So I appreciate your offer, but you know, it's just more stuff to keep track of, and if you need it, you need it too.
Yeah, I don't really need it. I'm done planting for this year,
so. But anyway, those are, and I'm going to go out when it gets cooler, and I'm going to repaint those beams that the roof rolls off on, because they need another coat of paint. But Jim and I have talked that maybe in a year, next year, we might, either us or get somebody that has a bending brake, and even wrap those micro lambs with aluminum so that they don't rot out, because I'm afraid those are going to deteriorate if we don't give them some really good care.
Did you get the other sheeting put on that you had started putting on those rails, the wood rails, the plywood?
Well, Jim and I last November put the metal on the top of them beams, but we never did the sides. And I was going to talk underneath those edges that we kind of bent down, but I decided not to, because if you do that, then you can't shove the aluminum for wrapping them beams underneath there, because the caulk would prevent it from going up in there. So
you did a little bit, and then that's it for that, and you just leave it for the other type.
No, yeah, if we put aluminum on the beams.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
Anything else?
Yeah, on that 12-inch roll off, I mean, they're dome, the 12.5-inch telescope dome, the small one. I need some of that, somebody to get some of that. It's kind of a foam stuff you squirt in the openings. I got a couple down on that wood that's at the bottom of the door on that. It's kind of rotted, and that needs to be sealed up so the mice just don't go right on through it. But it need to have it's kind of a red and yellow can with a hose that sticks out, and spray the foam in the holes. We might be able to use that up there for other holes if we can find any more. It's like that foam that expands. Probably $10 or $15 for something like that.
You can send the bill to Matt Nielsen. If you want.
Problem is, I ain't got any money, so
Yeah, so,
it's hard for me to get.
well. Anyone else, anyone volunteer to get that for him? The club will reimburse you.
I think when you go in the 12-foot dome building, when you open the door, it's right to the right. I had to kind of hack that out when we were setting that dome when we moved it over, and didn't have much time because the crane that lifted it up, they wanted to get it down, and we were fighting other things too. And so there's a hole there that, yeah, maybe the foam would help,
Yeah.
prevent things from getting in there. But
But the next time I get out there, I'll look for it then, okay?
yeah, I know it's there. I know the
Okay.
problem.
And that's the thing where you squeeze the button and it comes out the tube.
All right.
Okay.
And it scans.
Okay. All right, anything else? Anyone bought any new gear recently? That explains this long run of good weather we've had. Anyone got any gear for sale?
I got a couple of eyepieces for sale. Got a 20 millimeter Lanthanum. It has I think it's got a Celestron label on it, but it's a Vixen eyepiece. 70 millimeters. It's really, really sharp. But since I got my 22 millimeter with the 100-degree field working, I don't need that 20 anymore. I also have a 10 millimeter, which is again very, very sharp. I've got a 9 millimeter with a 100-degree field, so I don't need that 10 anymore either. If you need either one of those, just give me a holler.
Contact Cecil if you're interested.
Those inch and a quarter or 2-inch eyepieces, Cecil?
3 inch and a quarter.
All right. Gentlemen, once again, we need some ideas for presentations to give at these meetings. If anybody has a topic you'd like to talk about or would request a topic you'd like to hear about in a presentation, please email the board.
I just have a thing from the last. We're talking about spray foam. A mouse can chew through that. That's why I tell people, if you got a hole, you go to Dollar Tree and buy stainless steel scrubbers, and you stick those in the hole. They won't rust, and mice can't chew through them.
We saw snakeskin in the 24 by 30 building. Jim saw that today. I was surprised because I thought that thing was pretty well sealed up.
Yeah, over at Sherman Park, that, you know, if you were doing like maintenance during the daytime, you would watch the mice, they would just crawl up the outside of the observatory. And they just go right inside the small hole where the track is. And just climb right back down. The bats would live up underneath the tracks. So you're always going to have some rodent problem to some degree. The new building, they just haven't They're just starting to find it.
Also, when I was shutting the roof, I noticed wasps up in the corners, especially the northwest and southwest corners. And I see there was some wasp spray in there, but you might want to be careful when you go in there and undo those corner straps because they're very close. I've seen 3 or 4 wasps real close there. And there's even a mud nest up there in the southwest corner above the chain drive I saw. So, you know, like you say, it's just a matter of time and they do work their way in. But I surprised I saw Jim saw that snakeskin because I even plugged those holes there where Jim or John Baker saw him last year, and I made little pieces of wood and tacked them in there to block them holes and even caulked it. So I don't know how that snake got in there because I thought it was pretty tight.
I found a snake skin in the big dome once.
Yeah. Now maybe there's a hole there where the wire comes in from that north east corner too. I don't know. Maybe it's just a matter of plugging a hole. Maybe that's where he came in.
Well, I've been meaning to email Ambrose physical plan about the mice in the big dome, about the wearing out the concrete there. I'll get on that as soon as possible. All right, so move.
I guess my only comment about presentations is and it's, it's always good to have presentations, but we're doing so much work on the site. We're always talking about so much on the site that, a 15-20 minute presentation, we don't have enough time for it. So we would have to kind of scale back or get some of these observatory problems repaired. You know what I'm saying? Unless somebody has a 5-minute presentation. So I'm not against presentations. I'm just saying the reality of it is that these meetings sometimes go for 2 hours, and we're mainly talking about star parties and observatory repairs, and site development is the word, I think. Problems with the telescopes and so on.
Well,
I think that the real challenge isn't the presentation, is do you have something that you can give it that wouldn't take more than 10 minutes?
well, there's one thing I can say that would only take a few minutes, in case anyone's interested. There's a partial lunar eclipse tomorrow night. It will only about a few percent of the moon will be covered total, but obviously not, so it's not gonna be a blood moon. It's just in case anybody's interested, it's maximum eclipse, I think, is around 9:45 tomorrow night.
Oh, it's fairly early.
Yeah. As I say, only a little piece of the moon will go dark, but in case anybody's interested. And it is supposed to be a super moon.
What's the window for the eclipse again?
I think it starts like about 9:15, maximum eclipse 10:15, and then be completely over by quarter after 10. You can try to see if you can spot any slight darkening when the moon's in the penumbra. You probably have to get out of the city lights in order to tell the difference. Any questions?
Nope.
There were supposed to be some aurora the last couple of days. There was a big spike on the sun.
I saw that they they're forecasting good chance for auroras tonight.
It was almost as big as that last one they had a few months ago. Sun's been pretty active, but I've been looking at it every once in a while when I have get some clear skies.
Yeah, this is the most active I've seen it since around 2000.
Well, we're going towards solar max right now in 25, so
Yes, obviously gonna be a stronger maximum than the last one.
I've never seen so much streaking and activity and flaring. And then I've had solar scopes for a long time. Not a lot of sunspots, you know, good sunspots you can see, but a lot of surface activity.
Jeff must be having a field day. All right. Anybody have any new photos to share?
Byron does.
Go for
Why
it.
am I always volunteering?
Cause you have a lot of good photos out there. Need to show them the Oyster Nebula. That was a good one.
The oyster. Okay. Oh, let's see.
NGC 1501.
Yes. That I took Friday night with the Maxitoff.
It's a very small nebula, but you got a lot of detail there. I thought it was pretty cool.
Great picture.
Thank you. I did take the Snowball too, but it didn't turn out quite as well. You can see the inner core a little bit.
That's pretty good though.
And you have a good picture of a M33. Looks pretty good.
M33, I mean, it's, put your sunglasses on. I cranked up the what do you call it, the gain on it quite a bit just to see how bright I can. That's awful. That's blown out pretty bad.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah, cool.
Very nice.
Well,
Yes.
it must look better on your screen than mine because mine looks like it needs shades to look at it. But
Very blue.
yeah, it is. Probably a little too blue. I was playing around with the color adjusting and probably got a little carried away.
No, that looked pretty good.
I'll show you. Oh, here's the heart.
Art Nebula.
Oh, yeah.
And the fish head. And what I'm not liking, I'm playing around with the AI tools. I don't like the AI tools. It's not as natural looking. And I didn't filter any of these images. I'm gonna go back to using Neb, like the Neb Z2. I was just seeing what it would do, just shooting raw, filterless, but it makes the processing a heck of a lot easier when you use some of these narrowband filters on Nebula. But yeah, a lot of this was the AI stuff, and I'm just getting turned off to it. I thought it was kind of cool at first, but the more I mess around with it, the more I don't like it. What else did I have? Oh, I did do the Pelican. And there's something down there, if you see in the kind of the lower left, I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah. That's cool.
Blue thing.
Some type of an, I don't know, echo thing there. I see on some places they got pictures of stuff that looks similar to that, like on Astrobin. I don't think it's in the same area though. But I thought that's kind of neat looking, but I'm wondering what it was. Anybody know what that is?
No clue.
Blue suggests a reflection nebula.
Around that star, maybe that star is illuminating it, but there again, this is all AI stuff that I use to process this.
What's AI stuff, Byron?
Well, your artificial intelligence, it can get into, like, Pixlr has the AI denoising, the AI super sharp.
Artificial intelligence.
Yeah, that you can run these things through, and it takes that wispiness out of the nebula and just kind of makes it, glossy. It doesn't look as brushy like you'd see naturally. It's more blotchy.
Mm-hmm.
And I really, really don't care for that too much. I want to get back to where it looks, like it should. What else did I take? California. Now here again, this is, if you look at that, it's looks almost animated.
Looks three-dimensional.
Yeah, but it's not how it should look. It's more of an animated look than what you would see naturally. It's just the AI is doing too much to it. That's in my opinion, anyway.
Looks good to me.
Well, looks like California's on fire.
Yeah, but it's kind of neat because in this lower area, you're getting some of those details. If you look on Astroban, there's you see this stuff, but these little details that it points those out, but it just like I said, I think it gets a little carried away. Let's look at the North American. I got two versions of this. I went kind of like the M33. I kind of went nuts on one, and then the other one not so much. I'll do the one I went nuts on. That'll blow your mind away there. That explodes in your face, kind of.
Yeah.
So we'll tone it down. And this is the other one. If that is toned down, that's the toned down one. But yeah, I was really playing with the colors and stuff, and not really adding. This is pretty much how it was coming out, but I was just kind of messing with the enhance and the saturation a little bit. And yeah, it's kind of popping a little hard there. I did do, I tried the Helix with the Newtonian. But there again, that's another AI these are all AI processed. I was playing around with them. And
That's really nice.
Well, let me show you the refractor version of that. Because the refractor version of it with that Takahashi is way better than that. Well, I guess a little bit, but not way better. But yeah, I gotta walk away from the AI.
Well, this one zoomed in a little bit more, Byron.
Yeah, that I had to crop that in because in the refractor it's even smaller than the Newtonian. The Newtonian I didn't have to crop it at all.
This is not with AI here.
They're all AI.
Oh, they are. Okay.
Yeah, the ones I've been playing with the AI for a little while now. Here's you'll really, here's the Trifid. The AI is just like I say, it looks like something you'd see on a cartoon.
It looks like an explosion.
Yeah.
Which maybe it is kind of an explosion.
Still pretty good.
If I go back though, I can't remember if I did the other one, if I still have it. Yeah, this one here, I don't know if I didn't use AI on this one. Now, this was a while back. Now, look at the detail. It doesn't look animated. It looks kind of like it should. But I didn't get the blues in there because I was using a filter.
Hmm. Yeah, I like the other one because it had that kind of blue highlight halo all around it.
Yeah, if I could stop using the AI and just go with the normal photo, it'd probably look a lot better. Here's a lagoon that I took. But it, that was kind of in the haze too. And I'm just clipping so bad to get rid of the haze from not using the filter that I'm just losing data.
Mm-hmm.
Which I screwed up. How do I get back out of that? Oh, here we go. Here's the M76. And that's again AI all the way, but
That's
I've
cool.
never that is pretty cool. You get to see a lot in it. It just not that was a lot of cropping on that. That was with the Maxitoff.
It looks like a bar magnet with, magnetic fields streaming out north and south.
It sure does. I don't know if I got anything else from that night. I did. Oh yeah, this is a good one too. Anybody guess what that is? The wizard.
Yep.
Buried in AI.
Hmm.
See, it's a heck of a difference from what you would normally get. I mean, it kind of kills it. But hey, playing around with it and learning is about all you can do. Learn what not to do more than what to do, I think. I think I have shown everything from M17. I just got to playing around with it. And right now I'm playing around with Pleiades. I haven't quite got it done, but it's blowing the screen up here too. I'm staying away from the AI on it though. But yep, I'm gonna just kind of go the natural route from now on and keep clear of the artificial intelligence on some of these sites because it causes more loss in data than it does help.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I've got some. Let me see if I can find it. I got some from Eastern Iowa Star Party. There's a group photo, the obligatory group photo.
Yeah.
I got lucky and missed that one.
Well, you were there, but you just weren't there for the for the picture. And this is a cigar galaxy.
Yep, that's good.
And that's what, M81? M51 and NGC 5195. And this is kind of a wide field image showing items around there. This was just taken with a 400 millimeter telephoto lens. And that's M101. These are, and then there's another wide field showing M101 and some of the other NGC objects nearby. Now this is one that I've been watching is T Coronae Borealis. See the little arrow there showing where it's at. And that's through the telescope, close
That's
up.
the Blaze Star.
That's a blaze star. Yeah, it hasn't blazed yet, as far as I know. Every time I go out, I take a shot at it just to see.
I would have heard it had gone off.
Yeah. That was that Friday night that we were all out there. Let me see if I can get out of this.
Nice.
Yeah, overall. Right.
And then I had some here. This was taken out at Castle Observatory. What was the date on that? I forgot to look. That was the 6th of September. That's Steve Sinkson and Dan Cusack and myself, the three of us. And so these are some of the pictures I took with my scope. M57. So what I was going for was trying to bag some of the two in the view objects, as well as some of the Herschel 400 objects. And so here's two globular clusters I got down in Sagittarius. My eyesight's not good enough, but NGC 6528 and 6522. And now, Byron, what's this down here in the lower left? I don't know if you can see my cursor.
That's a you have a lens. There's some reflection off your lens.
That's what I was just gonna say.
You got a lens reflection artifact, I guess they call it. But it almost looks like the Veil Nebula.
Well, I thought I'd discovered something, and I was jumping up and down because I was thinking Veil, or like some sort of expanding planetary nebula or something. So then I moved the field of view slightly, and there's a real bright star just below the corner here.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And it changed the shape of that when I moved it too. So I figured, oh darn. And this one is another globular cluster. This is one that Rob McDonald found in the observatory visually, but I could just barely see it. That's a really faint globular cluster in Sagittarius. I think most of these are in the Sagittarius area.
A lot of them are probably blocked by all the stellar nebulosity in that direction.
Well, look at all the stars here. This is just completely peppered with stars.
Looking right toward the heart of our galaxy.
Yeah, and this is I think they call it the Deerlick group. So you got a galaxy here, and then you got, well, there's a bunch of little galaxies around that, and some of them have NGC numbers. But this is NGC 7331, which is a real nice galaxy. That'd be one, Byron, that you ought to try sometime. I think that would if I would have done more exposures, I could have probably got a nicer view of that one too. Here's my favorite of the evening. NGC 7479.
That looks pretty cool.
That's a cool galaxy.
Hard spiral, yeah.
I've seen it called the Superman galaxy because it looks like a big S, I guess. And here's another nice globular. NGC 6624. So that's 4 stacks of 30 seconds with a gain of 100 with the ZWO ASI 2600 MC. And there's another nice little globular, 65, 69. Now this one here, this one could probably use more exposure or higher sensitivity, but there are galaxies right here. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. Right in this area here. This is Stephan's quintet.
Oh, yeah.
I think my focus might have been just a little bit off. And I got a satellite. It's hard not to anymore.
Yeah.
This is M22. That just shows you how in your face big and bright that one is. That's 6 stacks of 30 seconds each. And this is another nice one here. This is M55. Same thing, 6 stacks of 30 seconds.
Where is 55 at?
I was afraid you're going to ask me that. It's not far. It's east, a little north and east of Sagittarius. Exactly where it's at, I'm not sure now. It's visible right now. That'll be a good one to shoot to get out. And this is the fireworks galaxy up here. That's just another shot of the NGC 7331. I probably just tweaked the settings a little bit. I think that was 6. These were 60-second exposures. 6. And this is an interesting one here. I could have probably spent more time on this one. This is NGC 7814. And it's got a nice dust line right through the center of it. They call it the baby sombrero. So I think that's all I've got.
How about you, Craig? Did you get anything processed?
Yes, I did.
Hey,
What
while Craig's bringing that up, the question was, where's M55? And I looked it up, and it's just to the left of Sagittarius, about the same declination, about the width of the constellation over to the left.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds right. It's a good, it would be a good one, Byron. If you want to try for a nice globular, a big globular, that would be a good one to try.
Yeah, it looks pretty well defined.
Yeah, it's good.
I need to try it. A while back, I bought that Antilia Tri-Band Ultra, RGB Tri-Band Ultra, and I haven't used it hardly at all. I need to try it on, because that's what I bought it for, was clusters, nebula, like reflection nebula and galaxies. But yeah, I need to put that thing in there and plug away at it with that filter and see what I get. You're supposed to be able to see a lot of the red nebulosity on M33 when you use that filter. So I'll have to reshoot that also and do a few globulars with it and see what I come up with, because it's supposed to be really good at the color correction and everything, and noise reduction from light pollution, or gradient reduction, I should say, not noise.
Well, at East and Iowa Star Party, the Friday night I did the Iris Nebula with the Explorer Scientific 127 with a +7 reducer, ASI 2600 mm using the Bader filters.
What'd you call it again?
Is that the ISIS?
Yeah, this is ISIS Nebula. This is the one that I processed with Jim in the observing room on Saturday afternoon. But when I came home, it was much better done with my home desktop. I've improved the program in my laptop, so I should be able to get this. If you notice, Jim, at the upper left, there was a large halo with the blue star, and I got most of it out. So it turned out pretty sharp.
Yeah, what scope is this?
This is an Explorer Scientific 127 millimeter +7. It's a carbon fiber triplet.
And what kind of camera?
ASI 2600 mm mono with Bader HA 03S2 filters. And I did that, I think I did that about an hour and a half each filter with focusing and meridian flip. It came to about 5.5 hours total.
Did you have to refocus for each color?
Every half hour.
Okay.
And after a meridian flip. It's automatic.
Oh, you got an autofocuser on that?
Yes.
Okay.
The only way to do it. So the some of the programs I had in my laptop was missing. Didn't notice until I got there. So when I came home, I got those loaded. So I should be good for next week.
How's the weather looking on the extended? Anybody looked?
Not. I have not.
If you're talking about next EISP, expecting showers toward the end of the week approaching it. The weekend itself looks okay right now. But,
I did another one, the sunflower. Let's see. Yeah. That was with the 533.
That looks really good.
Yeah. And it's
Wow.
it's it could be improved a little bit more because there's a little bit of haze off to the side. It might be nebulosity, but that galaxy's a long ways away. So
It is. That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's nice. Looks like a black hole swirling around.
a lot of black dust.
probably is a black hole in the center of it.
But I noticed with the wind we had a little bit on that Saturday night that I was getting some egg shapes, so that's not good.
It's still good though.
Yeah.
Have you did you
excellent.
reduce your stars at all?
Yeah, I did some reducing to it, but when you do a reducing, you literally remove some of the stars that are really faint, and I didn't like that, so I bounced around until this is what I ended up with. It's still in progress, but I'm happy with it so far.
What galaxy is that again?
It's the sunflower.
M63.
Want to give that one a try?
It's not bad. If you have the right scope.
What was the scope you used here?
That one right there was the 9 1/4
Okay,
without a reducer. But it's used
Like-
the 533. I need to get, like I said, it's so far away. You want as much magnification, and I don't want to use the reducer because it gives a wider field, gives it further away, and I didn't want to crop that. The idea is to fill the object that you want to take a picture of as much in the screen as possible, so you can get more of your camera pixels to mesh together to get a better quality detail. The idea of taking a picture with an object far, far away and you have to crop it in, you're cropping a lot of that camera pixels out of your view. So
right.
that's why I always use Stellarium to pick the right OTA with the right camera. And I mean, I always will bounce towards the 2600, either MC or MM, before the 533 or the 1600 MM, because it's better well depth and more pixels, the same size pixels as the 533. It's just bigger. Well, anyway, it's for me, those are the two that I did.
I have one project that I can show you. Let me share my screen here. IC 342. It's called the Hidden Galaxy. And I took 2 days worth of exposures. And I started out with 60-second exposures. This is with a red filter. And don't see anything. Went down to 90-second exposures. Still don't see anything. And I took a ton of, and here's hydrogen alpha. Still don't see anything. So I went to the second day, did 300-second exposures. This is hydrogen alpha. Still don't see anything. Red, I can start to see it there. Green, sort of. Blue, sort of. But when you stack them all up,
Here it comes.
let's see. Here's a stack of the red filter. You can start to make it out. Let's see. There's a combined color filter, combined 3 colors. But there's the red, but just the red. If I'm not seeing the other colors.
What galaxy is that? Fireworks?
No, it's a IC 342. It's called the Hidden Galaxy. I found it in Stellarium when I was looking for something challenging to shoot.
Well, it doesn't appear to be hidden anymore.
I can see why they call it hidden though.
Oops.
Is that located in the Milky Way, John? So it kind of gets hidden by so many stars?
Yep. Oops. It was a tough one. That's red, red, red. These are all red.
Looks pretty good in red.
Yeah. Anyway, that's was a challenging one. Let's see. That's all for me for today.
Byron, if it's convenient for you to get to your dark shark, could you show us that again?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've been very impressed with that. I tried shooting at the Eastern Iowa Star Party, but I haven't attempted to process it.
And this is where I kick myself for doing that in the AI. I wish I had.
Looks
It
good.
It'd be a lot more impressive without the AI. It's too blotchy. I don't expect it to be perfect, but it like I say, looks more like somebody did this with chalk than they did with a lens.
You know, just a little bit to the upper right of center. I think that's a galaxy in there too.
There?
That yellow thing?
Uh, right.
Oh,
Okay.
right there.
Yeah, right there.
Is that a galaxy?
I believe so.
That's behind it then,
Yeah, must be.
way behind it.
And you can't see this visually, can you? No.
No.
Oh
No.
God, no. You can't even see in the lens. You'd need I don't know how big of a telescope it would take to start seeing that.
And how much time, or how many exposures?
8 to 10 hours, like trying to remember.
Yeah.
6-minute exposures, no filter. That's what I want. I want to do that again with that RGB Ultra Tri-Band. I want to see what will happen. So next star party, if it's good, I'm going to plug away at that again.
And this was with your 85 millimeter refractor?
Yeah, the baby Q.
Okay.
If I get this Pleiades put together here in a second, I'll show it to you. I'm kind of I got the stars and everything separated. I got to put them back together again and see what it looks like, but I can kind of show you where I'm at. But I'm staying away from the AI on it, not touching it with AI. So if anybody's got anything else, because it's going to take me a minute or two here.
Yeah, you gotta frame that one.
I'll do the next one. I'll frame it. That there is just a little bit, like I say, it looks too animated for my taste. I know it probably looks good on the screen, but on my iPad, it's not something I'm real fond of. It could be better. Okay, I'm going to put these back together again here and see what I come up with, and if I can get it saved and emailed over, I'll to my iPad. I'll send it. I'll put it on the screen. Try not to clip this down too much. One of the things, I don't know if you noticed, Craig, when you're doing this, on one computer screen, it looks immaculate. You send it over to another screen, do like a test email on it before I send it out. And I pull it up on other screens and it looks absolutely blown out. Do you ever notice that?
Yes, it's because the screen brightness is bigger than whatever you're transferring it to. Have you ever heard of photo or Google Photo?
No.
Oh my. Google Photo is a sub-processing that will give you a better highlight. So when you do make a transfer with less information, so you can send it over the internet, it'll hold on to that brightness and it'll give you a better color. Look into it. I'm not quite sure if iPads have it. I'm sure they do. I don't know. It's a Google product. It's called Google Photo. I
Okay,
have it on
so
my desktop. I have it on my tablets. I have it on my phone. It works.
So I just put the photos into Google Photo, and then that's what I use Google Photo to forward it on through emails.
Well, all right. If you're using Google Photo, there is a setting at the bottom. Let me see here. You have a picture up. You open up Google Photo. You load a picture. Give me a minute. I'll load a picture.
Here,
And
let me
there's
get out of this. I'm still sharing here. Okay, my screen's off. Go ahead.
you get a picture up that you wanna work with. And at the bottom, it has 4 categories: delete on the right, lens in the second from the right, and you got edit, third from the right, or second from the left. You push edit, and it gives you a whole bunch of choices of what you need, from brightness to, let me see here. It gives you 3 settings: dynamic, enhance, unblur, whatever. Then you can go to cropping. You can go to tools that you work with. Adjustments, my favorite. They have brightness, contrast, HDR, white point, highlight, shadow, black point, saturation, warmth, tint, color tone, blue tone. You can even sharpen it with what they call diamond pop or sharpen pop. And those are all separate filters that you bounce around and get something that you like. And I had that problem until I got this program, where I would have something on the screen and it looked beautiful. Then I sent it out to somebody and then looked at my phone screen and it looked dark. For me, so far, this is my solution for that.
Okay, Google Photo. Well, I'm going to save this.
It will not overwrite. It'll ask at the end if you want to make a copy or if you want to replace. I just use copy.
Okay. Because sometimes I'll use Windows to adjust.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is the Google better?
Oh, by far.
Okay.
I mean, I've used both, but I fell into this one right away and I'm going, man, I got to have this on all my computers. It just took me a while to find a program that will allow Google Photo to work on my desktop, but with a little playing with it, you can get it to work. Works great with my tablets or my phone. Everybody still there?
Most of us.
Yeah. Well, anyway, yeah, that did seem to solve my problem until I find something better than that.
I just get furious because it looks just immaculate. Then I'll send it to, yeah, and I look at my phone, like you said, in the iPad, I'm like, what the heck happened?
Well, the brightness and contrast on your computer screen is set somewhat high. You go to another screen that's not has the same setting, it has a tendency to deteriorate in its quality visually. It's still there, you just need to brighten it up.
I'd
Did you
also
find-
propose that you're probably seeing a little bit of modern, we had CRTs forever, right? That was kind of the gold standard for what a display should look like. And then plasma came out, which was a pretty decent representation, but LCDs have been, making strides over the years. But then finally, about, 5-8 years ago, a real display technology like AMOLED or OLED came back, which actually has real black. So if you go from, like an AMOLED screen, like you'd see on your phone, or an OLED screen on a high quality computer monitor, or even like what is the iris display on an iPhone or an iPad, and then you compare that with an older LCD. The older LCD is going to seem washed out because it just doesn't have the same blacks. And they compensate for that by making the image substantially brighter, which, as Craig's alluding to, you need to adjust the contrast to get that back under control.
Agreed. But it's all about taste. Some of the tutorials that I have listened to within the last year, which I didn't say until now, is that they're starting to believe that the true color of a nebula is in the category of bubblegum color. That's why you're seeing that AI color as bubblegum color. A variation of brights and darks in the pink area or mauve. I don't like it. I like the color. Oh, that's pretty.
That's Pleiades.
Is that yours?
Yes.
Nice.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I like the diffraction spikes.
I know. I love the spikes
Oh,
too.
yeah. That does really enhance it. At
No,
first,
yeah.
everybody's saying, well, that's how a star is supposed to look like. No, it isn't. That's pretty.
Yeah, no AI. The background's not clipped. It's probably a little too noisy in the background, just a little bit, but maintain the star colors. But yeah, that I'm happy with. We don't have that animated look to it. It looks like it should.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely a dreamscape, the way I see it.
Gentlemen, it's getting close to 8:30. We do need to move on.
Oh,
Let me get off here. There we go.
All right. Okay, Matt Nielsen has sent the treasurer's report. Currently, the general fund has $2,819.85. That includes dues checks recently sent in from Rolando, Gamino, and Kim Chung. Observatory fund, $5,140.74. Events fund, $500.11. Savings, $5 as usual, giving us a total of $8,395.71. Discussion? Bearing in mind that I'm just relaying what Matt emailed to me, I'm not really in a position to answer any questions. No questions. Do I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I accept.
Craig moves to accept. You have a second? Sure. Steve seconds. All in favor of accepting the treasurer's report?
Aye.
I
All opposed?
I,
Who did that?
You'll find out when you see the recording on YouTube.
I don't know.
Wasn't me this time.
Well, I heard a lot more ayes than I heard nays, so we'll assume the report is accepted.
We'll nominate him to be the next treasurer.
There you go.
So he was treasurer the year before. But that does bring up, that does segue into our next topic, 2025 board nominations. In his email, Matt Nielsen said that he unfortunately has to step down as treasurer at the end of this year. He feels he just can't devote the time to it as he should. So we now need a president, a new president, a new vice president, and a new treasurer for 2025. Any nominations? Is there anyone would like to nominate? I'll remind you that we need a slate of nominees by the end of October in order to have enough time to email a ballot out to the general membership in time for the November elections. Jim, you're vice president right now. Does your silence mean you're willing to stay on as vice president? Perhaps even promotion?
Well, I'd certainly like to give anybody else an opportunity to do it. Especially if there was somebody that saw that as a stepping stone to be the president in a subsequent year. But if no one else is willing to be the vice president, I would run again.
And I'm in my 4th year as president, so I'm not supposed to do it anymore. I'm willing to advise the next president to sort of a few months easing them into the role, but
Just become dictator.
well, let me think about it. No.
Also, it looks like Matt Nielsen really is so busy that he really doesn't want to be treasurer either.
He says he's still willing to handle the nonprofit status with the tax filings, and it is remaining as technically our registered agent, but he just can't. He just doesn't have the time to be full-time treasurer anymore.
At least he's taken care of the legal stuff with the government, so that's a real plus right there. You don't want to lose that connection.
Right. Yeah.
I agree.
So then the treasurer is mainly just handling the checkbooks and the bank account.
And filing the biannual report.
Mm-hmm. So, well, everyone think about it. And in the meantime, it's too bad Ashley isn't here. One of the topics I brought up was a club YouTube channel. I met with one of Ambrose IT on Friday, and to be honest, I only understood about half of what he said, but he evidently took the YouTube channel we're doing right now, the one that's linked to my old work Gmail account, and linked it to what he called a brand account with the name Quad Cities Astronomical Society. And the one thing about doing that is that now I'm able to completely transfer ownership of the YouTube channel to someone else for when I'm not president anymore and someone else needs to take charge of it. And that this brand account does belong to us. So I presume that even if my old Gmail disappears completely, we'll still have this, and all the videos we post to it will still be there. We'll still have access to them.
So on YouTube, where do you go to for this channel?
Right now, the channel's name is Ambrose Astro. No
Okay.
space.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if we can rename the channel itself. The IT guy didn't go into that. But the brand account, that has our club's name. So might have to do a little experimenting with it, but yes, I can. All I need to do is change the owner. I've already made Ashley a manager on the channel, which means she doesn't have full editing access, but she can access the different accounting features. I want to meet with her sometime and go over this. Chris, do you have any experience with YouTube channels?
A little bit. Nothing that I could say a whole lot. I mean, I watch a lot of them, but other than that, no. I've run a couple of YouTube channels that get like no views. So in terms of administration, I know a little bit about how they work.
Did this idea of a brand account ever come up?
No, I've never personally had any involvement with a brand account. It would certainly be a learning exercise for me in that regard.
Maybe you, me, and Ashley should get together sometime and take a look at it.
Oh, I have no doubt that she'll drag me into it.
I'll let her know.
Okay, Robert, what was that? St. Ambrose what?
Just Ambrose Astro.
Ambrose Astro, okay.
Yes, this is where we're posting all of our meeting recordings. It's Ambrose capital A, Astro capital A, but no space in between. Okay, well, while you're looking for that, the other item I have on the other business is the Astronomical League. So at our last board meeting, we were the board elected to use a donation that we're expecting from, what was it, 3M, was it, Jim?
That's correct.
Yes, to pay for membership, for club membership in the Astronomical League for the next 2 years or so. Now, this simply means that the club itself is going to be a member of the league. We'll leave it up to individual club members if they want to, if they themselves want to be join the league. Of course, some of us are also members of PAC, and they're already in the Astronomical League, so they first want to show they won't have to pay twice for membership. As long as they're doing that through PAC, they're covered. This offers just for those others of us in the QCAS who are not yet members. So if you are interested, please contact the club. And now we are waiting on the confirmation of the donation. So as soon as that's confirmed, so as soon as we get the club membership set up, we'll let the membership know. Jim, how long is this?
And then well, I don't know. I mean, I think it comes as a check coming to our mailbox, so we'll have to check the mailbox. So I would think that it should be here anytime or up to maybe a month from now. And so once we get that check, then we probably will talk to Alan just to say, Alan, help us figure out how we become members of the Astronomical League.
Okay, Matt has the PO box key. We'll have to get together with him. Either make sure he looks and checks it, or get together with him so he can pass off the key to someone closer.
Okay.
Check the box more often.
Yeah, just let me know when you're ready to, do it, and I'll get the ball rolling.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Okay, is there any other business that people want to bring up tonight? Going once. Going twice. Going twice and a half. If there's nothing else, then our next board meeting is October 2nd. If anybody has something they want the board to discuss, please email us before then. And the club's next general meeting is October 21st. I've been told that this room, the South Annex, got booked by someone else for the 21st. But the Rogalski Center has reserved the North Annex room for us instead. That's the meeting room that's on the other side of the big one from this room. Seats about 14 people, so roughly about the same size as this one. And I'll send out a reminder of that as we get closer to that meeting date. All right, is there anything else? We have a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
Cecil moves. Craig seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Right.
Have a nice evening.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Oh, let me know how I can get that.
Oh, yeah.
Text me, whatever.
Oh.
Okay, old bones.
Tell me about that.
Good stuff. Everybody's getting out and done.
Yes.
Hey, Robert. Robert, this is Howard.
Yeah, Howard?
I'm on that, a Facebook. Amber